The 1994 San Francisco 49ers had the most dominant offense in postseason history. This team was 5 years removed from his last Super Bowl win, with obviously one of the greatest of all time, Joe Montana, at the starting QB helm. And as we all know, Steve Young would take over the reins of starting QB for the San Francisco 49ers, which was a move a lot of people hated because obviously it is Joe Cool. But Steve Young's talent on the field was something that no one could deny whatsoever. But what people could deny was that Steve Young could not get it done when the lights turned bright, and that's something that Steve Young in the 1994 San Francisco 49ers would rally around to win a Super Bowl in dominant fashion. But obviously, to get to the postseason, we have to touch on their regular season. They would go 13-3 and clinch the number 1 seed, with 10 of those 13 wins coming in a row after an absolutely embarrassing 40-8 loss against the Philadelphia Eagles. And their third and final loss was Week 17, during a game that it was one of those losses, like, doesn't really count, but on paper it does. And going into the postseason, this team was star-studded, with 4 players making the Pro Bowl on offense, 4 players making the Pro Bowl on defense, and with something to prove, Steve Young would go out and win MVP with his star wide receiver Jerry Rice getting All-Pro first-team honors, and Deion Sanders during his one-and-done season with the San Francisco 49ers would win Defensive Player of the Year with an absolutely absurd 303 interception return yards on the season. And let's start their dominant 94 playoff run in the divisional round against the Chicago Bears, who had just come off of a 35-point performance against the Minnesota Vikings during the wild card round. And how would the Bears follow that up? Well, they would start off actually very well, getting a 49ers fumble and then capitalizing on that fumble with a field goal, starting off 3-0. Hey, Bears are looking pretty good. Then all of a sudden, the 49ers scored 6 straight, going up 37-3 during the fourth quarter, and something that we saw with the 49ers was their fight for Steve Young, and nothing showed that more than this fight right here when a Bears player had a late hit on Steve Young during his second quarter rushing touchdown.
Pretty much today, why not help your quarterback? Well, he just faked out Vincent Smith, what a move. And then there's the hit by Gale. Watch Steve Young turn around and just right in his face. Jerry Rice, I mean, he just jumps right in there.
We've got a personal foul on Chicago defense.
He knows it's a touchdown. Now look, he gets hot. Look at that. He goes right after him. Man, you got to love that about your teammates. I mean, you got to just...
And the 49ers would win this game 44-15 with a 3-touchdown performance from fullback William Floyd, but it was clear. 1, you don't fuck with Steve Young, and 2, this offense was an absolute buzzsaw, just waiting for its next opponent, and their next opponent was the Dallas Cowboys. And if you know literally anything about 90s football, you know that in the early 90s, the Cowboys and 49ers went at it, and it was a series that the Cowboys had dominated. They went to 3 straight conference championships, this one being the third one, and well, the Cowboys won the first 2. Pretty handedly too, and that is where the Steve Young skeptics came in and said, oh, he'll never be Montana, he'll never be this, this team will never be a dynasty, yada yada. And this was the year that the 49ers would get it done. In week 11, the 49ers would beat the Cowboys 21-14, which was definitely a big game for this 49ers team because it proved that, yes, we can beat the Cowboys. We can overcome this massive obstacle that stands in our way. And when it came to the conference championship, not much else was different, going up 31-14 at halftime. Absolutely absurd. Beating the Cowboys was this season's mission for the 49ers. Steve Young said it himself. The mission for the 94 49ers was to beat the Cowboys because that was their Super Bowl, and the winner of that game would obviously win the Super Bowl. And this dominant first half was kicked off with the Cowboys receiving the ball, and within plays, the 49ers would get a pick 6 to start up 7-0. How would the Cowboys respond to that? How about a fumble? 49ers get the ball back, score 14-zip early. The 49ers would score 21 points during the first quarter, and the Cowboys could simply not claw back. The Cowboys' dynamic offense, obviously with Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman, and Michael fucking Irvin, would have 5 turnovers. Their offense would end up scoring 28 points during the 38-28 loss, but with 5 turnovers, you have no shot of winning. And with Steve Young on the other end doing what Steve Young does, it was just domination. The final score may say it was a 10-point game, but it was not a 10-point game. 49ers got the monkey of the Dallas Cowboys off of their back, and it's time to go to Miami and play in the Super Bowl. Going into the Super Bowl, they were playing the San Diego Chargers, who had the 9th ranked defense in the NFL. It was not enough. This 49ers offense was an absolute buzzsaw. Obviously, 44 points during the divisional round, 38 against not only in the conference championship game, but against the Dallas Cowboys, the team that haunted the 49ers, the team that the 94 49ers mission was to simply beat the Dallas Cowboys. 38 points versus them. It did not matter which defense was playing this 49ers team. It was domination, and dominate they did. In the 49ers offense, first 8 plays, they would score 2 touchdowns. 14-0, up big, up early. And we obviously know what happened from there. Steve Young would throw 6 passing touchdowns, including a Jerry Rice hat trick. The GOAT before Tom Brady had his second trilogy of championships. Jerry Rice imposed his will. And this 49ers team with Mike Shanahan and Steve Young put up 49 points, winning 49-26. But obviously, garbage time points did help out the San Diego Chargers, because at one point during this Super Bowl, the score was 42-10. This San Francisco 49ers offense was the greatest offense in postseason history, putting up 44 points per game, which is a record for most playoff points per game. Steve Young was the man. 2 MVPs in 3 years, including a Super Bowl MVP and his first and only Super Bowl win. The first 49ers Super Bowl in 5 years. And this clip in reference to having to succeed Joe Montana, have the Cowboys haunt him for those 2 seasons. And, well, let's play it.
Someone take the monkey off my back, please. Oh, it was a gorilla. It's gone forever.